Hello. Happy Monday. And happy new moon. There's so much happening cosmically and within the world. We have Saturn that has gone retrograde for a little while, which kind of shifts our stability in some ways. And then the new moon in Gemini really accentuates our communication, our creativity, our relationships too, because all relationships are based on an ability to communicate. So those are major themes right now. Gemini is also the mental body. It's the throat and the arms and the hands. So you may find that you're being given opportunities to investigate the way that you communicate, both internally as well as externally. And feel free to drop in the comments and let me know how that's presented for you. There's been some intensity too, and I haven't been able to really figure out if it's the moon, if it's Saturn going retrograde, if it's some other cosmological weather, or if it's the influence of the summer solstice, which happens this Wednesday. Here in the South, it's easy to feel like it's already summer in May, but the season does not actually shift until Wednesday. And with that, this is like the peak of the year. This is when we have the most energy and the most access to the sun, and the sun representing the SON if you're a Christian mystic or a Christian. Or even in some of the other realms of mysticism, looking at the sun as the logos of our solar system, like the deity that represents God in our solar system, because it is that we revolve around the sun and that we rely on the sun for life. All things in our solar system rely on the sun for life. So there's a lot of like mystical metaphor. What am I trying to say? Mystical metaphor. Yeah, that was right. In looking at our sun, our solar logos, as an emanation, a manifestation of divinity, of the divine, of a dynamic of greater consciousness. And so also, I mean, there's so many things to say, so sometimes it's difficult for me to like gather all of those thoughts and put them into one short reading. But what is emphasized, at least from where I stand, is really looking at how we're caring for the body right now. Are we eating the foods that are in season, that are local? If you're feeling like a little bit off in your body, it might be time for a total reset, doing some kind of detox. Maybe it's a fast of some sort to just get you reset, recalibrated to the summer rhythms. And summer in the medicine wheel is it's the time of youth. It's the time of living. It's the time of harvest as well, and like enjoying the harvest. So all of those things are here with us with this new moon, and I'm finding that with the solar energy so impactful at this time, so heightened, that it's amplifying the new moon energy, which would I'm very curious if you know anything about the Saturn retrograde and how you're relating to it during this time. I'd like to hear more about that. So without further ado, I ask for these transmissions to be of the highest light and truth, to provide insight and wisdom, direction for the energy within the summer solstice and within this new moon cycle. And with full thanks and glory to the Most High, and so be it. All right. So I have all my cards out. I don't anticipate using them all, but I have no idea. Sometimes when I'm doing this in conjunction with some other cosmic events, they may be larger spreads. But just feeling into the initial collective theme. That's an interesting one. So the first card we pulled is doubt. How is this gonna work its way out? Unusual, but it's got a picture of the sun at the center of the cross. And the card itself says, I release the need to know all the answers. And there's something in that, like, as I read it, I think about in my youth how I really didn't worry as much about needing to know what the next thing was or needing to have all of the answers. Whereas now, as an adult, I find that I, very type A, like to plan things, and sometimes can be a little bit impatient because of that. The next two cards that I pulled says, nothing ever is worth closing your heart over. And who is having all these physical, emotional, and mental experiences? Notice who is experiencing the experience. Realize that you, the experiencer, have a certain quality. And that quality is awareness, consciousness, an intuitive sense of existence. You exist regardless, thoughts or no thoughts. This is so different than any other reading that I've done. And it's making me wonder, as I've been watching the Schumann resonance, there has been one monitoring system that has captured a very unique pattern on the Schumann resonance, which this is like an indicator of where the collective consciousness is and what's going on with it. And I'm getting that feeling in the reading of like, wow, this is really unique. This is something that's new and different. And for our connecting card for these is the Sweat Lodge. The Sweat Lodge is a purification. It's a ceremony of going metaphorically into the earth, going into the womb, into the belly of the mother, and then emerging new. It's where we release impurities of mind, of body. So when we shift seasons, I had already, I'm having trouble with my words here this afternoon. When we shift seasons, it's helpful to go through that detox process so that you can make a smooth transition into the next season of life within the body and within all parts of the being and the mind. With the Sweat Lodge, the message is, this is a time to journey inward into the dark and hidden places of your soul to reconnect with the ancient earth wisdom. You can also create a sacred and intimate space in the dark by lighting a candle. Observe what emerges, and without judging it, invite it to bring you its gifts. You are being offered an opportunity to shed and heal from the aspects of your life you have outgrown. Do not worry that you will be consumed by the process. Life is offering you a second chance. Take it, since this chance may not come your way again for a while. Mother Earth is calling you into her womb and inviting you to incubate as long as needed for a spiritual rebirth. Gift yourself time to be with your darkness, your fears, your pain, and your seeds of beautiful potential, until you come out the other side free, wise, and full of creativity. I've seen this presenting in the last few days of both like the irritation. I'm thinking of like two things being rubbed against each other, causing friction, and in that being able to light a fire, I guess, is where I'm going with that. To burn down and to become something new, like the phoenix does. This is a time for new beginnings, new slates. Nothing ever is worth closing your heart over and giving perspective to where you're at, to where the places that you're uncomfortable, that you're having trouble in, that you're having pain, starting to stretch your view on that so that you're not so consumed, but you can see from a higher point of view. And then in this Mayan Oracle deck, I pull the rabbits. This one I'm still getting to know. And I got this one not too long ago. It feels like a source of good fortune, just looking at it. So the rabbit is a prominent symbol in ancient Mexico in two very different ways. The rabbit is seen in creation myths and having to do with the sun and the moon. It is linked with the intoxicating beverage pulque. I'm not sure what that is exactly. When this rabbit comes to you, it is a sign to take off your mask and be your authentic self. If something or someone is trying to dim your light, you need to do something to allow your true light to shine brightly. Okay, now this doubt card is starting to make sense here. Let's keep going. And with it being this Gemini energy that is challenging us to be more mindful of the way that we communicate, to get creative in all of our processes, to I'm seeing like epiphanies, like visions and things being created out of seemingly thin air. But we have to know how to properly channel that and to communicate it. So if there's somewhere that you're feeling a little stifled in that process, it might be time to go through some kind of purification process to allow yourself to release whatever this like negativity that has built up, that has caused you to take on a persona that hampers your light, that dims your light. And the card that I just pulled says, "What lights you up?" So what does light you up? Summer is youth, it is childhood. We can start to connect with where in childhood we started putting on masks, where we stopped honoring our authentic expression, where we felt judged, where we felt rejected. What is still existing from those points in time that have echoed throughout your history that have caused you to doubt the path that you're walking on now. And how can you let that go? You go to the sweat lodge. You go into your darkness. You meet your doubt. You face that challenge, that fear. And this Starseed card, I think, is going to give us some more direction on how to be with that at this time. Starseed. Starseeds have a double mission: to raise their own consciousness and the consciousness of the planet. They are old souls who have carnated everywhere beyond this planet. Many starseeds arrive with a feeling that this time is running out, and that there is something that they came here to do, create, or contribute. If you pull this card, it is to confirm that you are a starseed. You are being encouraged to answer the call, to follow what lights you up. So if at some point in childhood you had something that lit you up, most of us have experienced that. And if you didn't, can you find that now? Once awake, most starseed souls find it hard to have meaningless conversations, jobs, and relationships. They innately know that there is much more to life and feel that there is something more and get to work. They remain restless until they step into their calling, which is to light up the world with their unique presence. Many starseeds spend part of their lives trying to fit in or in some form of spiritual closet. If you are dimming your light to fit in, it is time that you stop and start embracing the unique light that you came here to share, and treat your time on Earth like a glorious vacation. Well, I like that. That sounds really inviting. And I 100% relate to that. You're not meant to fit in. You're not here to be a part of the status quo. You're here to break the mold and to create the new way of being. But you have to stop doubting yourself. You have to stop undercutting yourself, undermining that inner authority, undermining your intuition. How is it that we get a starseed card and an indigo card? So clearly this is an activation point for the starseeds, for the indigo children. And if you don't know what the indigo children are, I'll read you what this card says. Generally, they were born in the late 70s, the 80s. I don't follow the timeline that they say for that real closely, although each generation is a certain expression of light. And the indigo children, like I would consider myself an indigo child, they tend to be more sensitive, more empathic, natural-born leaders, strong-willed, high-spirited, strong personal beliefs about changing and improving the world. Indigos may have tempers, which fuel them to move forward with their activist campaigns. Sometimes this energy can be misdiagnosed as ADHD. Got a lot going on here for highly sensitive people, the missioned workers, and we're all here to do work. We are all here to awaken. We are all here to be present. That is the purpose of every individual on this planet, is to become awakened, to become conscious creators, and to create from love. But we can only do that once we're able to actually see where we are unconsciously creating, where we are not taking our authority and doubting ourselves. That seems to be the major theme, is this doubt card. I release the need to know all of the answers. I'm going to read a little bit more on that one. And Ask the part of you that remains in divine wholeness to reveal to you what needs healing in the now moment. Integrate all parts of yourself in unity and oneness. That is exceptional advice for this reading and for this time. If you don't really know what's lacking, you ask your higher self. You ask the part of yourself that is still whole, that is outside of space and time, that has never been touched by any trauma, any pain, any of the illusion of this world of Maya, this human incarnation. Ask that part of you that is far superior. Ask your soul. These are all synonymous terminologies for the part of yourself that's still whole, divine wholeness. Ask the part of you that remains in divine wholeness to reveal to you what needs healing in the now moment. And pull this last card here. Pono, immeasurable power of the heart way. Isn't that beautiful? Immeasurable power of the heart way. The heart has the power to heal in a way that the mind cannot understand. Do not allow your mind to distract or frighten you. You are a beautiful child of the universe, and divine love lives within your heart. A willing heart is all you need to transform any situation that is troubling you. Recognizing this power does not evoke feelings of pressure or anxiety, but of peace and joy. Lightness of heart and relief of mind are here for you now. Bless me, excuse me, thank you. Do not allow yourself to intellectualize or analyze the situation to the point of feeling confused or paralyzed. Any and all issues that have plagued you or a loved one can and will be healed through the heart. Let your heart feel the faith it needs to feel so that it can rest in joy. Divine healing wants to flow abundantly for you. Open up to receive it without hesitation or condition. Yes. All right. So the heart way, just a recap for the whole reading, to look in the places where you have doubt, to look at the places that by needing to know the answers you are saying that you doubt, that you don't trust. Looking at all of the tendencies to undermine the inner authority, to undermine your faith, to undermine your intuition and your power. And to get too caught up in the illusion, to get too caught up in the dramas that are playing out, to be present with them, to be aware of what it's working out, what it's reflecting back, but to also be aware of a greater picture, to raise the vision to see the whole picture, where you can ask the part of yourself that remains in divine wholeness to reveal to you what needs healing in that moment. And to be mindful that you have a mission, and you might be feeling more activated at this time, and sometimes that comes as sudden change, as just large shifts, large life shifts. It could even be just a change emotionally. It could be a change mentally or physically. And you can support this change of seasons in your life to flow with the seasons of nature, as you are a part of nature, to synchronize with the flow of life by doing some kind of ceremonial cleanse, by going into the darkness, being with the darkness, to purify and to return to the light, to be reborn, to recreate, to create consciously, and to know that no matter what unfolds, that nothing is ever worth closing your heart over. Look at your shadows, look at the parts of yourself that are inauthentic, that put on a mask out of fear, out of doubt, and be with that and love that. Love the part of yourself, love the inner child that was imprinted with judgment, that was imprinted with emotions that caused a coping that resulted in taking on personas for protection. All right, fam. Thank you for receiving this reading. If you would, please hit the like button, subscribe for more, share with anyone that you feel that this would be of service to. And as always, thank you so much for being here on this earth at this time and for sharing in this transmission. Giving great thanks to you all and wishing you all a very happy, light, joyful, playful summer. And until we meet again, keep it pure and stay simple. Pura vida.